Welcome, brothers and sisters of the left-hand path. I'm Dr. Murphy, your host for today's tarot pathworking and analysis video, and we are going to be performing a tarot analysis that is going to be in concordance with the demon Sargatanas, who is going to be leading us through our descension into hell through the 7 gates. Sargatanas is the brigadier of hell, one of the gatekeepers, one of those holding the infernal keys, and so he is going to be with us as we descend to each gate, negotiate it, and it is he that will determine whether we pass through it and how it is that we may pass through it to descend further into hell. And we're going to be pulling 7 cards. We're using the Hermetic Tarot. This is created by Godfrey Dowson, and it is based upon the Mystery School, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and so it is based upon their teachings, and it utilizes their symbolism. And if you have never seen this deck before, it is quite unique and stunning in its imagery, symbolism, and also its stark contrast in being in black and white. There's no color employed here besides black and white. Okay, so without further ado, we will begin this. Again, we're pulling 7 cards. Today is Thursday, September 11th, 2025. Okay, so let us go ahead and pull the first card. So this first card is representing our arrival at the first gate, which is the gate of the summons, and we will be negotiating the first key. And to pass through this gate, we must determine what it is exactly that is calling us to descend here. And so this is going to begin our journey into the infernal realm. Okay, so now let us go down to the next row. Again, there's a single card here. Okay, and we'll pull this card here. Okay, so this is the second key for the second gate, the gate of Sargatanas. This is really our first trial that is handed down by Lord Sargatanas, who is here at the gate standing with key in hand. And here we must determine what it is we must surrender. So here it is, we are determining what it is that is calling us upon this path, calling us to descend, and here it is, we must figure out what it is that we must surrender. We must surrender something here. There's something that must be left at this threshold. Okay, now we go down another layer where we will have 2 cards. So again, let me give these a good shuffle. That was not a good shuffle. Let's try that again. As I mentioned in the previous video, these are, still the kind of standard size for a tarot deck, and they are a bit cumbersome to shuffle and to handle. But okay, I believe that is good. And so let us pull 2 cards. 1, and let's just go ahead and cut again. 2. Okay, so we are at the 3rd level, descending down, and here we have 2 gates. We have the left gate and the right gate, and these complement each other. They are juxtapositioned. Here you have the trial of shadow, and here the trial of light. Okay, but this is a kind of perhaps false light, or a light that is trying to trick us or deceive us. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue here, and we're coming to the last level, and here we have 3 cards, so again 7 cards in total. So let's do one more final shuffle. Okay, let's see if we can do one more good riffle shuffle. Okay, that's not too bad there. Okay, and we are pulling 3 cards here for the 4th, 5th, and 6th gates. Okay, so let us pull here 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now we have all of our cards, and okay, so we have 4 levels through which we are descending, 7 gates in total, 7 keys which we must obtain from Lord Sargatanas if he deemed us worthy to pass. So we have here the 4th gate, which is the we have the 5th key, the gate of serpents, the 6th key, the gate of fire or gate of flame, and the 7th key is the throne of hell if you can reach here to attain your sovereignty. Okay, so before we turn these over, let us go through just one more time to make sure that we are on the to make sure that we're ready to go here. All right. Okay, so again, passing through the gate of summons, and here we are asked what it is that is beckoning us into the unknown, into the abyss, into the fire of hell, into the hellfire. The 2nd gate, we must ask ourselves, what is it that must be left behind at the threshold? At the 3rd gate, we're asking, what is it in the dark that seeks to claim us? And here at the 4th gate, we ask, what false light or fake light must we see through? Here at the 5th gate, we must ask ourselves what knowledge burns or heals us. Here at the 6th key, we ask what must burn so that I may pass unto the 7th key, where we ask, what power awaits me when I rise from these depths? So if you can make it here and achieve the throne of hell, and then you must make your way back out of hell. So this whole journey into hell, into the hellfire is an alchemical crucible of transmutation. So you're descending into it so that you may reemerge and rise again, completely transformed, having achieved infernal apotheosis. Okay, so now without further ado, let us turn over the cards. Let us see what we have. Okay, so at the 1st gate, we have the Devil. Excellent, excellent. At the 1st gate, we have the Devil. What is awaiting us at the 2nd gate? Temperance. Okay, so 2 major arcana cards so far. So we have the Devil, the Lord of the Gates of Matter. This is quite fitting. I love getting this card here. Okay, Temperance, the Daughter of the Reconcilers. Okay, excellent. Okay, as we come to the 3rd gate, the 2nd level here, we have the 5 of Wands, Lord of Strife. Very interesting here. Okay, very interesting. Okay, and I'm just going to lay these out as I turn them over, but I will, before the analysis, I will place these back. The 10 of Cups, Lord of Perfected Success. Okay, I'm liking this. Okay, down to the 3rd and final realm here. We have the star, another major arcana, the daughter of the firmament. Fantastic. Okay, the sixth gate, the last judgment, another major arcana, the spirit of the primal fire. Okay, these are heavy cards for this analysis. And our final one, the throne of hell, the seventh gate, the seventh key, Lord Sargatanas, brigadier of hell, gatekeeper, holder of the infernal keys. What do you have in store for us here? Fortitude, daughter of the flaming sword. Fantastic. Okay, and so just again, this is the first gate, first level, second level. We have temperance, 5 of wands. Gotta make sure I don't get these out of order. Oh, wait. No, okay, second level. Third level. Okay, we have 5 of wands, 10 of cups. Yes, and then the fourth level, so first level, second level, third level, fourth level, we have the star, the last judgment, and fortitude. Okay, looks like we have our work cut out for us here. So let us go through each of these cards and interpret them through the infernal lens of Lord Sargatanas. Gate 1, the summons. Here we pulled the Devil, Lord of the Gates of Matter. This card corresponds astrologically with Capricorn, symbolizing discipline and being pragmatic in earthly matters. Focus upon such things as money, wealth, health, status, and even professional relationships. Here we invert the pentagram, following the wisdom of King Belial and his teachings to master earth and the material plane. At this gate, we must be aware of what is beckoning us to descend upon this path into hell. Again, going along with King Belial, this is an interest in mastery of the material plane, of matter, of acquiring forbidden knowledge to attain more power in this carnal realm, with the ultimate end goal of achieving sovereignty here. This path is tempting because of its promises of wealth, status, and power here on earth. Looking at some of the symbols of this card, we have the chains, the torch in the left hand, the inverted pentagram, as well as the bat and goat. The chains are loose. There is only an appearance of bondage here, and so they are consciously held. The lesson here is that in mastering the material, although this is possible, we do not want to let it have control over us. In other words, we must learn to enjoy it, but not to obsess over it. The torch symbolizes illumination, and it is important that it is being held in the left hand. And you'll see this if you look closely. This is ex tenebris lux propria, manifesting one's own light in the darkness. The pentagram, of course, is inverted because we are mastering the 4 elements and taking control of spirit. We are channeling spirit down into ourselves, and we are also taking the left-hand path through the infernal realms and gaining our power that way, and ultimately infernal apotheosis. The bat is a symbol of transformation, the vampire, Dracula, which lends to the symbology of dragon energy, as well as the serpent, and that furthermore connects with Empress Leviathan. The goat is also associated with Capricorn and connects with the will, which can help us in being very pragmatic. However, in its negative aspect, can lead to stubbornness. But again, the main question here, what is calling us to this path? What is it that beckons us to descend here? It is not about comfort, it is about attaining power and sovereignty. Because if we choose to continue through these gates, we are leaving the comfort of the mundane world to travel through hell with the hopes of attaining true sovereignty, but it will not be comfortable. Most especially with King Belial as our guide, who offers harsh teachings. But ultimately, there is the potential to attain kingship and sovereignty, sovereign power, through the alchemical transformation of hellfire. What is it in the material world that is calling us downward? Physical immortality, wealth and riches, political power and status. Which chains do I secretly want to wear because they make me stronger? Remember, the chains are loose. We may choose to wear them or we may choose to take them off. But some of those chains may not necessarily be a bad thing. For example, greed for more wealth and material things, such as exotic cars and beautiful watches, can drive us to attain more power. Gate 2 and the second key, the gate of Sargatanas. This is the price of entry, and it is the card of Temperance, the daughter of the reconcilers, that is connected with this gate. Astrologically, we're looking at Sagittarius. Sagittarius, in its positive aspect, here you have one who is very philosophical. However, in the negative aspect, they can become quite restless. However, here we're asking, what is it we must leave behind? And it is just that. It's time now to become practical, per the Devil card, to follow Capricorn in becoming more pragmatic and becoming a doer. Sagittarius is too much focused upon the philosophy. So much like in the book, The Alchemist, Sagittarius would be like the Englishman who has read all the books on alchemy. He can cite them word for word. He can teach you, but he can't do it. Here we must ask, what must be left at the threshold? What must we forfeit? And it is that obsession with the study and the philosophy and achieving this kind of perfect knowledge before we feel that we may proceed to actually apply it. The Temperance card of the Hermetic Tarot is connected with the Hebrew character samek, which means prop, or the crutches that we use to hold ourselves up. And we must leave these crutches here at this gate before we can continue. The further descent demands an undiluted will. We must follow the Devil here and Capricorn. We must be ready to apply ourselves. We must become doers. Okay, a few symbols with this card. The two streams of lightning and water. And the lesson here is that we must stop watering down the lightning. We have the solar hexagram upon the chest. We already have enough knowledge. We already have enough integration. We must now release this process of study and research. There have been enough books. It is no longer needed. Now is the time to take action. The Ouroboros, again, stepping out of this perpetual state of never being ready to take the plunge. The beast cauldron below. Again, same thing. It's alluding to this. Enough study, enough preparation. At this gate, the price is compromise. So leave behind the mixing bowl. Leave behind all of the careful planning and apply yourself. What is it that is preventing you from moving forward? Is it the fear of failure? The fear of embarrassment if you don't get it right? Which prop are we leaning upon instead of carrying our power to its full fruition? And I would say that is the prop of continuous study and research instead of application. Okay, so far we have passed the first level, the second level, and we arrive now at the third level of hell. At the left gate, the third key, where we find the Five of Wands, the Lord of Strife. Astrologically, we're looking at Saturn in Leo, Leo being connected with confidence and charisma in its positive aspect. However, in its negative aspect, we have such characteristics as stubbornness, attention-seeking behavior, and fragility in the face of criticism. This is of the element of fire, being of the suit of wands. So this is the left gate. This is the shadow trial. A trial with our own shadow self, our own internal conflicts. And here we must face our inner saboteur. We have the 5 crossed wands in flames. This is symbolizing the clashing of wills. This is strong, chaotic energy that is wasted unless it is properly channeled. This chaotic energy will not only be wasted if it is not properly channeled, but it can destroy us. We have the winged caduceus above, symbolic of the serpent force that can either heal or harm, just as the shadow itself, just as our unconscious mind and our subconscious mind can heal us or harm us. We have the 2 lions' heads connected with Leo and the dual aspect of Leo. Such things as pride, courage, dominance. However, looking at the shadow aspect, this can transform into arrogance, uncontrolled ego, stubbornness. We have the glyph for Saturn, which here is symbolizing limits and boundaries, but also very important lessons learned through struggle. Again, connecting with King Belial, who is the harsh teacher, and his lessons are lessons to be learned through experience. So we are pathworking hell here. with Sargatanas, because Sargatanas, again, is the brigadier of hell, but also he is one of those demons of hell that is a gatekeeper and who holds the infernal keys. However, we are also seeing strong connections with King Belial coming up, and that started with the Devil card. To pass through the left gate, you must not suppress or repress those aspects of the shadow. Neither should you indulge them blindly. Some conflicts are teachers, others are distractions. So we must ask ourselves here, what inner conflict or ego battle must I face in the darkness? And am I fighting to grow and develop, or simply to avoid surrender? So there's chaos here, especially in the deeper levels of the mind, in the shadow, in the abyss, in the void. Within hell, it's chaos. Hellfire is chaos. But what will you do with that chaos? Will you channel it into order, a new order? Or will you drown in the abyssal sea? We pass now, moving along this third level of hell, to the fourth gate, which is the right gate, the trial of light. But be careful with this light. Here we find the Ten of Cups, the Lord of perfected success. Again, be careful with this light. This is a beautiful card. But we need to ask, what is the lesson here? We must not be complacent with this card. Astrologically, we have Mars in Pisces. Mars is associated with our drive and also things like assertiveness, leadership, application. But with Pisces, we have the intuitive mind, the creative mind. This is associated with dreamers in its positive aspect, but in its negative shadow aspect, this can turn into indecisiveness and oversensitivity. At the right gate, we must discern between true illumination and false light. So what the Ten of Cups is showing us is an idealized vision of harmony, balance, euphoria, joy, fulfillment. However, when you have such perfection, it is too easy to fall into complacency. And you must really ask yourself if what you're seeing or experiencing is just illusion or truth. Here we have 10 overflowing cups, signifying abundance, cycles completed, unity. There are lotus flowers for purity and spiritual fulfillment. But be careful of the shadow aspect. These kinds of things can turn into stagnation. Here, we still have Mars, the glyph for Mars. So there's still that strong aspect of willpower if we do not abandon it. We have Pisces, but here I fear this is being connected too much with its aspect of like fantasy and idealistic fantasies. And the flowing water between cups is signifying interconnectedness, but also dependency upon the flow from above. So something we need to ask ourselves here at this gate is, can you walk away from your ideal vision if it means there is still more to be done? Can you see beyond the present comfort and sense of completion? What if this beautiful vision or feeling of comfort that you're having was so much so that it could tempt you to stop too soon? If you settle here for whatever harmony or beauty you perceive to exist, are you going to miss out on achieving so much more? Are you going to retire from the great work of achieving infernal apotheosis and true sovereignty? But if we stay tapped into that willpower, true to our vision, and we keep moving forward and keep pushing on, we will come to the fifth gate. So now we are at the fourth level of hell, where we will find gates 5, 6, and 7. And the fifth gate is the gate of serpents, where we find the star, the daughter of the firmament. And the Hebrew character tazadi, meaning fish hook, as in the thing that draws up hidden truths from the deep abyss. Aquarius is the astrological aspect of this card, symbolizing a dependence and rebelliousness. However, in its shadow aspect, one can become too detached or even aloof. So we must be careful with Aquarius here. So here we are at gate 5, the fifth key, the gate of serpents, where we come to understand knowledge as weapon and medicine. The star is the serpent's truth in pure form. It is vision unclouded, wisdom untainted. It is dangerous wisdom, dangerous knowledge, forbidden knowledge, because it strips away illusions entirely. It is the serpent's venom. Again, something that can heal or destroy, build or destroy, depending on how it's used. The pointed star here is cosmic guidance, the perfected compass of truth. The nude figure pouring water into the stream and onto the earth is symbolic of both collective consciousness and the individual path. Sacred geometry here is symbolizing knowledge in ordered form and divine patterning. We have multiple cosmic energies and forces being integrated into one vision, as symbolized by the cluster of astrological symbols. Divine order here, and the serpent's systemized knowledge is apparent in the Tree of Life pattern. To pass the fifth gate, you must accept the serpent's gift. It is one so sharp that it severs lies from truth. And again, there is a duality to it. It is a double-edged sword that has the ability to poison or heal, to destroy or build. And so you must ask yourself here, with this venom, with this forbidden knowledge, how will you use it? To help others, to help yourself, to change the world? What vision or truth will you wield like the serpent's fang? And how will you ensure this wisdom builds rather than destroys, if that is your desire? Okay, now we pass on to the sixth gate. The sixth key, the gate of fire, the gate of flame. Here we have the last judgment, the spirit of the primal fire, and the Hebrew letter connected with this card is shin, meaning tooth. That which consumes and devours. Astrologically, this card is connected with fire, which is fitting for the gates of fire. This is a gate, a card of negredo, blackening, alchemical transmutation. Everything that cannot endure the alchemical fire here is consumed. It burns in the alchemical fire. The Metaphysician here, pathworking these cards through the gates of hell, burns here as well in the alchemical fire. But if successful in the alchemy, they are reborn vampire. Here there is death and rebirth, death and life. The trumpet blast shakes the dead awake, and so we have the undead vampire. Coffins with triangles are symbolizing spirit emerging from material limitation and alchemical rebirth. Again, the undead vampire, immortal vampire. The winged figure and the clouds signify judgment descending upon us. The flames on the shield with the triangle are symbolizing purification of the self through fire and truth. And the bridge in the background is teaching us that the passage from the old world into the new cannot be undone. Once crossed, there is no way back. Anything that is false or that does not serve us is purged here, and it is burned away, stripped away. You cannot bring it with you. And so what remains after this judgment is the pure self. And so here we must ask ourselves, what part of us must be consumed so that our true form can rise? And if we pass through this fire, who is it that is going to emerge on the other side? Here it is to die and be reborn vampire. Okay, and now, finally, we come to gate 7, and Sargatanas is here with the 7th key, and he shows us Fortitude, the daughter of the flaming sword. This card corresponds with the Hebrew letter Teth, meaning good or best. And again, we have Leo here for the astrological correspondence. Its positive aspects are that, again, of charisma and confidence and leadership. All things needed for attaining the state of the sovereign vampire alchemist magician. This is the final gate. This is the throne of hell that is taken by, or rather through, inner domination. Not by external brute force, but through internal alchemy, inner domination. This is about taming the lion within. The maiden here is the higher mind, the conscious mind, which is much weaker than the lower mind, the subconscious, the unconscious. Those levels of our mind are many magnitudes more powerful than our surface conscious level mind. However, we have control over the conscious mind. So, how to control an unruly beast such as the unconscious? It must be done through cunning and trickery. It cannot be done through brute strength. Through tricks of meditation, alchemy, magic. May the lower mind be conquered and commanded. And in so doing, in commanding it, you claim your royalty. The symbolism here, the woman with the lion, this is strength through calm command, not brute force. She must use intelligence, trickery, and cunning over the subconscious and unconscious mind in order to tame it. She must be of the astrological sign Leo, to have confidence and leadership and charisma, to overpower the beast. The flaming crown or halo here is symbolic of enlightened sovereignty. It is the mind crowned with fire. The shield with the lions is symbolic of becoming infernal royalty, claiming the throne, letting it be our rightful throne. Ask yourself, how will I rule now that nothing within me is divided? What is the first command I will give as sovereign king of my own domain? All right, and that is that for this video. I thank you so much for joining me here today. I am Dr. Murphy, the founder and Infernal Hierophant of Pluto Sophia. You can learn more about us by visiting us at plutosophia.com. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like, thumbs up, and subscribe, of course, and comment if you have something to offer. I'd also like to hear some of your interpretations of these cards, and I'd also love to see some discussion and debate in the comments. Of course, as always, I just ask that you are respectful of others, you bring your good manners, use good and appropriate language. All right, that is that. Have an infernally blessed day.